where the hospital, the church had given space to medics who are offering free services to those injured, and also there's another free medical point I hear within the town, I think at Jamia Mosque. So many of the victims are also coming from those 2 points because those are the nearest point to the city, and the first point where the victims are being taken is All Saints and that place in Jamia. And if the doctors there are feeling that they can be able not to handle those cases, then they are sending them here at the Kenyatta National Hospital. In terms of number of those ones maybe who have died, I cannot be able to tell that because the hospital, as we spoke to those in charge of the hospital, they said by that time they did not have any fatalities reported here, but that might change in the course of the day. So we'll still be following up to see what will happen and see what will happen in the course of the day. Olive, I'll be able to give more updates as this continues to unfold here at the Kenyatta National Hospital Accident and Emergency Department.
Thank you for that update, Willie Lusige, speaking to us from the Kenyatta National Hospital there, where those who are injured in the protests are being taken. Earlier, the Kenya Red Cross said those who were seriously injured were being taken to the Kenyatta National Hospital and the Mbagathi Hospital. And Nakuru, we saw some pictures of a confrontation between protesters and the police, but the situation appears to have been contained. It appears that the running battles were triggered by the shooting of 2 protesters, but we'll have more information shortly. We'll have those pictures on your screen. With me in studio, I have John Kinuthia, and those are the images that are coming out of Nakuru next to those of the Kenyatta National Hospital. I was asking earlier, John Kinuthia is a leadership and security strategist, whether it's usual to see medical personnel outside the accident and emergency receiving area.
Sure. So this being a crisis situation, which the formal term is disaster management, because it's a crisis or crisis management. The medics you see lining up are affiliated to the to the patients being brought in by ambulance. So there are two sets of medics. There are those at the hospital receiving the patients, and then there are those who are bringing the patients in ambulances. So the medic who's bringing the patient in ambulances, especially the critical cases, they're obligated to hand them over directly to the medics at the hospital so that they can brief them, tell them the status of the patient, give them their vitals, their blood pressure, their oxygen, their heart rates, and all that. And most importantly, any medical notes that are necessary. For example, if you had already administered some sorts of medications, if the hospital staff were to administer the same medications, it will be an overdose. So they need to hand over personally, hand over the patient to the hospital staff. So the ones you see queuing are the ones who have brought them in ambulances. And because this is a triage situation, which means that the hospital emergency the ones you see queuing are the ones who have brought them in ambulances. And because this is a triage situation, which means that the hospital emergency teams will be prioritizing the more serious cases. Especially you had the doctor or the medic at the church saying some people have very serious wounds like broken limbs and gunshot wounds, even to the head and all that. So,
all right. So I'm seeing the representatives of some human rights organizations, including Haki Africa, that is Khalid, who's about to address the press there. Yes. Let's listen and then we'll continue the conversation later. Sure.
Khalid ni moja wanaharakati. We rushed here after we heard that the injured have been rushed here. We've spoken to some of the doctors wametuambia that they've received 2 dead. When they arrived, they were already dead. One had was shot in the head, and the other one was already dead. I don't know where he was injured. They've also informed us that so far they have treated around 125. 125. Most of them injuries, soft tissue injuries. Others were injured in different places. But it's really sad to see these kinds of injuries because this procession, this protest was largely peaceful. And we didn't expect that, these kinds of fatalities would be reported, these kinds of injuries would be happening. We are very saddened, and we want to inform the state that Kenya has moved many years from those dark days, and we are not in a police state. And the police should not use excessive force on peaceful, youthful protesters. We will work with the necessary institutions, we will work with the necessary authorities to make sure those that have been killed, those that have been injured, they get justice. We cannot allow, any use of excessive force like this. And we are committed to ensure that the message gets through, that the government listens to the people. Kenya is a country that is governed by a rule of law. Yes. And police cannot use excessive force on peaceful protesters like this. Yes. Over 100 people have been treated here. Yes. We cannot have such kind of a situation. And we will stand firmly with those that are injured. We'll stand firmly with those that have been killed and make sure that they get justice.
Taxes must fall.
Yes, of course, this will not deter us from delivering the message. And the message is very clear. Reject finance bill. Why are we being forced to accept this? You cannot force this bill on Kenyans' throats. Why is the message not getting through to these people? Yeah, 204 people against 54 million. Does that even make sense? So we are saying enough is enough. Listen to the masses. Listen to the people. Yes. Come down from your high seat and listen to the voices. You can't say you want to dialogue, then you're killing people. How is that dialogue when you're shooting live bullets at peaceful protesters? That is not right. That is unacceptable. Yes. We are living in a country governed by a constitution and the rule of law. Yes. Kwa nini munatumia live bullets against people? Yes. Why are you doing that? So this is unacceptable. Na tumesema enough is enough. Yes. And we must listen to the voices of the people. Yes. Well, right now we've informed IPOA. We, of course, are waiting for the next of kin to be informed. We can't just come in. Lazima tutafute familia za wale wameuliwa, waelezewe kwanza. We must respect that. After that, of course, just as we've done with Rex, just as we are doing with Evans, we'll proceed to the post-mortem and then immediately make sure those officers who are involved are removed from the service, investigations zifanywe, and after that, washikwe, wafunguliwe mashtaka na wafungwe korokoroni.
Out of the 125 casualties, how many have been informed are suffering from gunshot?
Well, they can't count, but they told us definitely some of those wounds are as a result of shooting. We have quite a number that probably is soft tissue, but they said that out of the 125 or so, a good number, they said a good number, I can't tell the number, but they said a good number are gunshot wounds victims.
So we currently have over 100 people at Jamia Mosque. So those are casualties that have not been reported. Currently we have people that are in Jamia Mosque. We have a Red Cross team ambao hawajafika hapa. Kwa hivyo namba ambazo Hussein Khalid amesema ni tofauti, ni wale ambao wako hapa Kenyatta National Hospital, lakini kuna wale ambao bado mpaka sasa hivi tunaweza kucollect. Lakini data itaweza kupatikana labda kesho ama kesho kutwa, lakini tunaomba sisi sote wale ambao wako saizi town, tafadhali turudi nyumbani, manake tulikuwa tushaamua ni kuanzia saa 6 mpaka saa ngapi? Saa 11. Kwa hivyo tungewaomba wale saa 12 naarifiwa hivyo. Wale Gen Z na wale ambao wamekuwa na sisi, tafadhali turudi nyumbani, tujipange na tuangalie vipi tutakavyoenda, si ndio?
Yeah, we are appealing to the protesters, please, wherever you are, if you're listening, the time imefika. Please, let's end this now. Make sure you reach home when there is still daylight. Don't give them an excuse, because we know last time wale waliuliwa ilikuwa ni usiku, and this is the time when they send out goons to break into shops, to destroy property, and then they use that to kill more of our youth. So we are appealing to everyone who is out there right now. The message has been delivered. We've occupied parliament. Kila mtu amesikia message. Zakayo ashuke, reject finance bill. Please and please. Right now, let's make our way home peacefully, and we leave to protest another day. Thank you very much.
Down finance bill.
Down finance bill.
Zakayo ashuke.